Use the YouTube chapters to skip through which individual stock you actually want to cover. Starting off, we're going to be going over the Nasdaq really quickly. Symmetrical triangle. Firstly, I want to show you these purple trend lines that I've outlined for you. This trend line and this trend line. That was a symmetrical triangle. We drew up the price target. We bounced off of this ascending support that we basically predicted that. We bounced off, broke out of this descending resistance, signaling a reversal. Then we kind of got rejected by this new level and this new chart pattern that we're actually going to be talking about. We got rejected. We came all the way back down. We initially we got a bounce and then tested it again, right? We saw a little bit of strength there. Ultimately, did not actually come to fruition. Ended up back testing this new ascending level of support. And as I was saying, this new symmetrical triangle that we have this 14.1K for the Nasdaq, that price target that is based on this symmetrical triangle here. Now, you may be wondering, Brandon, I don't understand this. Okay, just look at this. This is how you draw a price target. This is one way. In this situation, this is the most accurate way, in my opinion. I could, if I wanted to just be super freaking bullish, I could do this if I wanted to, right? And then say, all right, you guys, we got a freaking moon price target here. No, I'm actually going to go with this one right here because it's actually a little more realistic because we have a touch point on each ascending and descending level. So that is going to be more accurate, in my opinion. So that's our price target. Now, that's not, of course, that doesn't mean we're going to hit it once we break out. But as far as short term, right? Personally, I think we're going to hit this. I think it's just a matter of time. We're in a bull market macroscopically. We've had our little correction here. This isn't really much of a correction, too. This correction that we had back in September of last year, this was actually much worse. If you actually look at the difference here, that's 2,000 points almost. That's almost 2,000 points worth, and that's at a lesser valuation as far as price. So we let's see what ours was, 14,000 to down to 12,000. Okay, well, 14,000. Okay, so that's actually about the same. Okay, so it's about the same. Those two corrections, about the same. Okay, but guys, macroscopically, look at what we're in here. A bull market. We've had plenty of corrections. We've had this correction. We've had this correction, right? We had a mini correction right there, and then we had our big correction, the biggest or second biggest correction of this bull market. But guys, macroscopically, we're in a bull market. This does not mean until we break this ascending level of support, we are still in a bull market. Why? Because we're making higher lows no matter what we do. We're making higher lows no matter what we do. As long as we hold and validate and respect that level of ascending support, this purple level has been validated, I mean, basically countless times. And if you actually draw that back further, if you actually went like this, it would actually be a lot more validations as well, I think. I have not done that yet, but I would assume so because it's such a respected level. Now, guys, as far as some indicators, let's pull up the RSI, let's pull up the MACD, let's do the whole 9 yards here. The MACD, it looks like, I can barely tell, but it looks like the signal line is still below the MACD line. Let's go ahead and maximize that case so we can get a little, yeah. So obviously I can see a little better now. The MACD line is above the signal line still. That signals bullish momentum. Obviously, we got a nice finish to today's price action as far as the broader markets. Now, what does this actually represent? This is very rare, and I've made this point before, and it does not always come to fruition because this is just one indicator. It's a very important and very bullish indicator today, but there's 1,000 indicators as far as the broader markets. We're covering the technicals, but that does not necessarily mean we know what's going to happen, right? But as far as this, real quick, we had a bullish power hour. This means that for people who don't trade with brokers who offer after hours and pre-market trading, they are trying to get in or get out based on what they think the next week is going to bring on a Friday right before the market closes. So they're trying to get in if they think it's going to go up. They're trying to get out if they think it's going to go down. So basically, if you didn't understand any of that, if the power hour from 1,500 right here, look right here, okay? If this goes up, if we do well here, especially in the last like 30 minutes, last 5 minutes, that more recent the better, right? If we go up there, people think next week is going to be good. If we go down here, people think next week is going to be bad. Okay, that's basically what it means. Now, let's go over the RSI, relative strength index as well. 49 neutral. Okay, honestly, okay, we're neutral. We got plenty of room to run. Right, we had our correction. Bollinger Bands, middle Bollinger Band. There is a little bit of interesting information, actually. The middle Bollinger Band is currently trading, if you actually look there, that kind of light blue, grayish number right there, we are currently trading at right above that middle Bollinger Band. Now, that is actually significant because if you remember from the other videos, or if you just knew this, that middle Bollinger Band acts as a strong level of support and resistance as far as interactions with the price action. So we are above that, and we got to close above that, right? So that means, only a couple hours, right? Well, obviously the hourly, we obviously barely, we closed above that, but we have not actually got like a couple daily candles or weekly candle above that middle Bollinger Band. But nonetheless, we are still currently trading at, right, from the close above that level. So that is going to act as a little bit of support if we were to show any weakness in the near term. So that's bullish. Let's look at some other indicators. U.S. economic calendar. Next week, guess what we have? Monday. Monday is the best day of the week historically. If you did not know that for the stock market, best day compared to Friday is the worst day. Monday is the best day as far as buying and selling. But guys, we have nothing scheduled for Monday. That is amazing. Maybe this is partially why we saw such a run right before the close. Maybe. It probably had a part of it. But also, guys, if you look, obviously they can change this, okay? Last week they had like barely nothing. There was barely anything on here, and then literally Powell came out. They added like 4 of these. They added some of these. Like, this can change, but right now there's not much in here, and that's what we want. Why do we want nothing, Brandon? Why do you want no events, right? Well, because the market likes stability and the market does not like surprises, and everything in here is a potential surprise. And actually, most of this stuff is a likely surprise, a lot of it at least. So that is what we're looking at as far as the Nasdaq. 10-year Treasury yields end higher. And let's be honest, guys. All right, I'm not even big into the bond deal, okay, because I just think it's stupid largely. All right, I'm not even that into it. All right, I know the basics, but guys, this is bullish, obviously, because basically the market direction, in a sense, basically the market will go up when bonds go down and vice versa, right? We as investors, as stock investors, right? We want the Treasury yields. We want the bonds and the yields. We want those to go down, because the higher they go, the more people who are going to start jumping ship on the bandwagon, being like, "Oh no, the market, the bonds are too high. People are going to sell out. The bonds are going to start gaining more traction now." But guess what? They just posted the biggest weekly decline since December. Obviously, this doesn't mean much. Right, even the Bitcoin, right? Even you could see an article like this for Bitcoin, actually, literally this week, probably for Bitcoin. And obviously, I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin. That having a bad week is bullish, is good and healthy sometimes for a cool down. But nonetheless, this could be a sign of a reversal. So it's something to keep in mind. Taking a look at microvision, we have a lot of different things here. This is a complicated chart pattern that you guys are not used to seeing. Now, basically, what you need to know is right now, this stock has been absolutely moving at an insane. I mean, if you bought puts on this, look at this. Look at the freaking pattern, okay? We were at $24. Now we're at 13. Okay, this is nearly basically a 50% decline. Okay, I'm holding all my shares personally. Okay, we just had a bounce off of this ascending level of support that we have validated going as far back. If we actually bring this up just a little bit to make it a little more clear, okay, basically December of last year, basically. And plenty of validations. We got a big bounce off it last time we validated it, and now, because of just the insane price action and weird bearish sentiment towards tech, low cap tech stocks like Microvision, BioNano, CTXR. CTXR has gotten absolutely. Actually, CTXR honestly has not done horrible, but it should be doing much better in my opinion. But guys, for Microvision, it's been absolutely brutal. If you've been buying the dips on this ascending level of support and adding there, congratulations, right? In my opinion, this is an amazing entry point right now. Even if you can get on this ascending level, that's even better, because we have gotten a strong bounce, at least kind of a strong bounce, every single time we've validated this. Going a couple months back, right? So personally, what do I see happening here? Well, there's a lot of different chart patterns. There's a couple of different symmetrical triangles that you could call here, but there are so many false breakouts and breakdowns that there's not really a clear one that I'm willing to actually put my reputation and bet my reputation on personally. Yeah, you could definitely say that this is one. There's a lot of different stuff here, but for me personally, what I will say is, in my opinion, I can be wrong, but if you get an entry point on this ascending level, anywhere from $12, $13, even current price, right? It's anything. This stock. Let's just pull the RSI so I can tell you what I mean. Okay, so I can show you what I mean. Okay, but we're not even. We should be, honestly. This stock is undervalued right now where it's at. Okay, let me tell you that. Firstly, there's this weird rotation from tech. People are going into the recovery plays right now, which don't have a lot of value. People don't really realize that, hey, tech is relatively new and there's still a ton of potential left just because COVID is going to end. does not mean restaurants are going to be the new freaking Facebook and Instagram. You know what I mean? But they are obviously, recovery plays are fine, right? For me personally, these stocks are the future. Literally, all of these stocks are the future. If you want to make a quick buck playing the recovery play, that's cool. I mean, I'm considering doing that if I see a great deal. But in my opinion, Microvision is a much better buy right now. RSI is 38 on the 4-hourly. If we look at the daily RSI, we're looking at 45. So we're actually pretty neutral just because of the insane run up. We were literally $3. Now we're 13. But guys, as far as the recent price action, honestly, the biggest thing I can tell you, let's look at some other indicators. But guys, this ascending level is going to treat you extremely well. Obviously, we're going to have to break some resistance levels. There's going to be 1,000 levels of resistance. But guys, we have not broken the 78.6% retracement level on the Fibonacci retracement, which obviously it does signal a lesser move in the future as far as once you actually break past those all-time highs or those 0% retracement. But guys, as long as you hold the 78.6% retracement, you are still projected, basically based on Fibonacci levels and personal experience, you are still going to get a move higher. Not as high as if you were to hold these levels, but still high nonetheless, because we're still holding the bottom support level. If we were to come back to this 100% retracement level, that is a little more concerning, right? That shows a lot of weakness, but we were able to get a strong bounce off of this 78.6% retracement level, and we are still making higher highs and higher lows. We are still in an uptrend and in a bull market on all of these stocks, essentially. Especially on this one has a very nice, clear ascending support. If we were to break this, if the market crashes and we get another correction, right, that can happen. Once we break this ascending level, that's when it's like, okay, it might be bear market time. Once that actually happens. But there is no indication that will happen anytime soon unless the market's just not likely, in my opinion, though. Let's look at some other indicators. So on the MACD on the 4-hourly, it's anyone's game right now. Signal line, once we get that crossover, that's going to represent some more bullish sentiment. For the stock daily, is looking pretty deadly. Okay, there's not really, we've been getting annihilated the last couple of weeks. Okay, there's not much to say here. Middle Bollinger Band is trading at above $15. Current price action at $13. That's a good, what is that? Quick math here. That's like at least like a 5 to 10%, 5 to 10% increase, something like that. 15% increase from 13 to 15K. Math is not amazing on the spot sometimes, okay? But that middle Bollinger Band, guys, I've told you this before. I told you when we went below this middle Bollinger Band, I told you we would inevitably come back to this middle Bollinger Band. You could have taken profits if you wanted. Obviously, we wish we did now in hindsight. But guys, there's a lot of, you can play that game if you want to play the technicals like that. But with companies like this, me personally, my conviction is very high for this company. Same with BioNano, same with CTXR. These companies' products, they are going to pop at some point. You don't know when. You don't know when that is, but holding long term and adding on the dips, taking some profits on the rips, right? I'm not going to lie, I took a lot of profits. I took like half of my position out of the stock when we were up in the 20s, literally. I made thousands because of it. I'm glad I did. That's why you sell some on the rips and add some on the dips, add more on the dips, right? But this is why I'm holding long. This stock can go like this at any moment, right? I literally got in right here, literally took profits more than 100%. But you don't know when that next run is going to be. It could be anywhere. It could be Monday. It could be Monday. Okay? Think about that. So the middle Bollinger Band, obviously, we have crossed below it now. We are going to be seeing some almost, just think of it like a magnet, right? Once you cross below, you're going to be pulled up. So that's what we're looking at. Let's look at the EMA real quick and the moving average. Okay, we're still in bullish territory. We have the golden cross. We have everything you need. So that's what we're looking at as far as the technicals. As far as the fundamentals, I just want to show you their patents and a little bit. Just go to their website, guys. One great tool, just go to their website and see what they are looking, see how good their website is, right? If they got a high quality website, that's a good sign. Now, of course, they could have just paid some marketing guru that's really nice at really good at setting up websites, but it's a good sign. And even if the website functionality aside, look at their products, look at the information. Okay, look at this. Okay, we have 4 patents right here. Now, patents are not guaranteed revenue, but they basically are. So this is good. They've got a ton of tech. Look at all the source code, silicon design, hardware design, 3D sensing module, automotive LiDAR application patent. That is going to be the most important one, in my opinion. LiDAR technology, autonomous vehicles, they are coming. It's just a matter of time, just like these stocks. Okay, that's why I think I know personally that these stocks it's just a matter of time before they double and triple and quadruple, because autonomous vehicles are coming, whether that's in a 5-year span or a 10-year span or a 2-month span. All right, 2 months is not very realistic, but it's coming. The future has a lot of advanced technology. The technology is not done being innovative. So autonomous vehicles, LiDAR technology is going to help with that, in my opinion. And a lot of companies may buy Microvision out because of that. Microvision announces retirement of board member. If anyone's freaking out about this, do not. I read this, so you do not have to waste your time like I did reading this. Okay, this guy is retiring for his own business reasons, and there's no, like, of course, this is not what you want to see, and this is going to result probably in some negative price action. But this is nothing to get worried about, guys. Their CEO is still there. Their important members are still there. Board of directors, obviously, you want a stability and consistency. But guys, this is nothing to freak out about, in my opinion. Short volume ratio, 31%. This is fairly high. These guys are going to have to cover eventually. Of course, it's not short interest, not 31% of the total shares. This does not mean that all of these people have not covered yet. It just means that some of them have not covered, and some of them did cover today, right? 31%, 25th, that's today, or that's yesterday. Sorry, excuse me. So that is what we're looking at. It's, these guys are going to cover eventually, and in my opinion, they're going to cover pretty soon because they can take profits now. And of course, shorts, I'm not going to do the short rant on why in the aggregate they're more smart than bulls, but they are going to be covering because their risk is very high. And on a stock like Microvision, it's even higher, in my opinion. These guys are going to get burned eventually. But taking a look at their insider tradership, insider trading report, 7% of the total shares outstanding is owned by insiders. That's how you get this statistic. Hey, you just take this of this, that equals 7%, almost 8%. Very bullish. Institutional ownership, 17%. I don't care as much about this statistic as opposed to the insider ownership, but still bullish nonetheless. Nano dimension technical analysis. So basically, there's one important thing here, really. I mean, above all else, this is basically similar to the other chart patterns. Okay, I'm not going to go over because this is going to that would take a lot of time, but you basically do potentially have a rough double bottom, also known as a George W, folks. We got a George W. This is the first bottom. This is the second bottom right here. So this is, it's not exact. Okay, we have 777 and then we have 650, right? Yeah, they're not exactly. Technical analysis is not perfect. This is roughly, I would call this I think this is personal. I think this double bottom is going to come to fruition. I think this is literally, I think that is honestly likely that we see literally a W literally exactly like this. And we literally are up back at $18 within a couple, how long did this one take from fourth to, so basically with, 20, 25 trading days, roughly. I think that is a completely reasonable prediction because the stock is insanely undervalued. And in my opinion, obviously, go watch the Nasdaq update if you want. I'm pretty bullish short term for the markets. So entry points, exit points, what are we thinking? Well, we clearly have this descending resistance line right here. We are likely, unless we see some nice market momentum, market sentiment, or if we just see a normalization and a return back to normal, if these stocks, these three can just return to normal and just not underperform the market like an insane amount, like the markets literally did amazing today and these stocks did bad, and that's been like the theme for this week, which is really crazy. But cool downs happen, and honestly, I'm expecting next week a huge bounce, but we will see. And yeah, as far as entry points though, the 61.8% retracement level sitting at a 77.87. That is an amazing entry point. If we see that again, in my opinion, very unlikely. I mean, Nano Dimension has been bleeding the last couple of days, even though the markets have been doing not too bad. It is not really, I don't really know. I mean, I guess it's just a cool down, but we've had our cool down, and any day now we're going to be getting popping and the opposite of carnage, in my opinion, very soon for a lot of these stocks, including Nano Dimension. So if you can get it right now, that's an amazing entry point. Same thing for Bio Nano on this one. In regards to my statement that goes something like anything under $10 is a good deal. Anything under 10 is a steal. And obviously, I definitely believe that with this stock right now is a fine entry point. Watch for the breakout off of this decent level of resistance. And other than that, let's check some other indicators on the daily. Let's look at the daily moving averages. All right, we got all the golden crosses. Okay, we actually came down and tested that 200-day EMA really nicely. And if we were to see some more weakness in the price action, this 200-day exponential moving average is going to be creeping up, and that is going to be acting as a strong level of support on the daily. Also, speaking of other moving averages, we have all the golden crosses that we want. Looking at the relative strength index in the MACD on the daily, The signal line is taking over barely. If we zoom in there, we can see it is barely above the MACD line. Once we get that bullish confirmation and the MACD line crosses above the signal line, in other words, the orange line crossing above the blue line, that is going to be some bullish confirmation and representing some more bullish sentiment for the stock. Relative strength index 4070. We are closer to being oversold and overbought. More evidence for my strong buy, in my opinion, for this stock. Taking a look at the daily Bollinger Bands, the middle Bollinger Band is going to act as a little bit of a resistance, but also we are below this middle Bollinger Band. And obviously, guys, like I said last time, once we go below the middle Bollinger Band, we're going to be seeing some price action being kind of pulled towards that middle Bollinger Band. And same thing when you go above it, right? When we went above it, we came back to it. Then we had our big run, got rejected at this top Bollinger Band, right? As always, that's how stocks work, right? They do these top and bottom bands, they do not get broken very often at all. Like, you will rarely see any breaking of these Bollinger Bands when you set the deviation to 21 and 3. So that is what we're looking at as far as the technicals. Institutional ownership, 21%. This is what everyone wants to see. The ARK ownership, they have been steadily holding strong. This is actually very bullish and more bullish than you think, because when big institutions, I assume ARK uses a little bit of margin. I don't know for sure. Someone comment if you know for sure if Cathie Wood and ARK, if they do use margin. I believe they do, because most institutions do. When stocks sell off, you lose a lot of your value. You risk margin calls the more margin you have. So what do you have to do? You have to sell. And since we've been seeing massive selling off in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, especially last month, especially last 30 days, especially, right? It is more bullish because Nano Dimension has not been, they're not one of the positions that ARK has been selling out of to reduce their margin call chance, right? They are so bullish that they are just staying the same regardless of their margin chances being higher, right? And they were adding, they literally added shares when it was at its peak, right? When it closed at 1666. So ARK is very bullish. Taking a look at ARKW, they're adding it's the same amount. And also on their other fund, that the IZRL fund, it looks like they did sell out of their position completely. But guys, I'm not worried at all, because it was literally 400,000 shares in the IZRL ARK fund, and they literally, that is a fly compared to these other ones, right? 400,000 is nothing. 400,000 shares is nothing. They have 5 million shares in ARKW, and 7 million or 6 million, almost 7 million in ARKQ. So I'm not worried about that at all. Taking a look at the Nano Dimension subreddit, I'll link this. This is a good little due diligence here. If you don't know anything about the company, it's very good. Taking a look at my current positions, I think I added a small amount today. I added a small amount to Mara, or maybe a little bit more than a small amount, maybe like $200 to Mara, $80. I don't know. Yeah, I added a little bit to Mara this morning. Obviously, it's looking pretty good right now. We'll see what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is crazy throughout the weekend, you guys know. But those are all my positions. These are my price targets. Let's zoom out so you can get a full little view. If you want to screenshot or fact check me on anything, okay, there you go. Relevant information in regards to the title is finishing up. Feel free to click off. If you want more things to this power, do so. Most YouTube videos in the first 5 seconds. All right, guys, we have the website finally, www.auspiciousbusiness.com. I'm going to link this into the description, and I'm going to pin it in the comments. So you're going to have several of places to get to the website if you want. Now, before you go and like, oh my gosh, Brandon finally got it done. It's so cool. Let's go and see what cool stuff and new stuff he's got on there. All right, I'm not going to lie. I think it's pretty cool. It took me several days to get everything done on it. It's a lot harder than it seems to doing the website, right? But there's nothing groundbreaking on there. Now, there's some cool stuff on there in my mind. I think there's some really cool stuff on there, and there's some helpful links on there. If you don't check the description often, you're going to find some cool stuff on there that you probably did not know of before. And it has some plans for the future. It has a ton of cool stuff, I think. But go check it. Go give it a quick skim. Just type in auspiciousbusiness.com. It'll come up, or you can search Auspicious Brandon Baltus. That'll probably work as well. If you have a serious suggestion or email, you can just go to the website and just chat with me, or leave feedback. I have a rate us page. I have everything on the website essentially. Or you can email me at auspiciousbusiness@yahoo.com. Success is never going to change our business model, guys. Deeds will not be less valuable because they are unpraised. You have to understand this if you're going to start a business or something crazy like I am doing, for example, in my opinion. But anyways, guys, it's not financial advice, guys. Thank you so much. See you on the next one.